Hi again, it's me, Cinnamon. I'm a 23-year-old working a corporate job who loves all things personal finance, especially budgeting. And today I'll be budgeting my second paycheck of January. I have my ready to assign amount here, which is my net pay of $4,216.91. And this is a little higher than my last paycheck because it has my reimbursements for my commuting expenses also in here. Before I go assigning this out, I did want to go over some of the changes I've made to my budget and expand upon the budgeting philosophy I talked about in my last budgeting video and talk about how that's going to apply to my investments. So first things first is taxes. I actually did end up just putting in the tax estimates from ADP that I got. And the reason why I ended up doing that, even though I have to recalculate it, is just because I like seeing that number grow over time. And you can only see the number like grow month over month if you put the needed for spending target. So I ended up putting that in anyway. You can see I've already taken out what I need to take out for this check. I also have this interest taxes category here, and the reason why I have that is because last year I got like over $2,000 in interest from my high yield savings account. So I want to make sure I'm actually putting taxes away from that because that ends up being like 30% taxed, and that number is going to probably contribute to why I'm going to owe taxes for 2023. So because of that, I want to just make sure I am actually setting that aside for my 2024 taxes so that everything is much easier for me. And I actually have my interest here, so I will make sure that I take taxes out for that. So let's just do 0.7. And then let's just do this 0.3. And okay, yeah, this is how much I need to take out for taxes. So over several months, like this number is going to add up to a good amount. Another thing that has changed is that I had to add this additional deductions category because I ended up opting in for like legal insurance. Now that I'm getting it taken out of my paycheck, I'm like, why did I do that? I am expecting to have like a legal situation this year. Nothing crazy, nothing bad. But I am expecting to need some legal advice this year. So hopefully I do actually like go forward with talking to the lawyers and everything because it's being charged to me. I'm seeing the number now. So yeah, it is like more expensive than my dental and vision combined, which is one because my work has good benefits, but yeah, it's just interesting to know that like I have kind of increased my deductions a lot just by that. And also I'm getting charged my new health insurance rate and it's gone up a pretty good amount. And it's gonna add up like this delta being applied every 2 weeks. So it does add up to a lot. So it's also making me doubt like more and more whether the HSA is worth it. So it's something I'll be keeping my eye on for 2025, like open enrollment. So that is that. I think that is all I needed to cover in my changes. I know I was playing around with the order of the categories here, and I don't remember if I actually finally ended up having a different order. But if you remember in my last video, I was talking about how I'm going to basically be giving myself a spending allowance and assign that spending allowance first. And then once I've given myself my spending allowance, I know I'm a month ahead. I will then start putting everything else into my investments and just like sticking solely to my spending allowance. So I didn't want to flash back to my annual plan, which has been coming up time and time again in my videos because it is the beginning of the year and this plan is the roadmap for the year. So I need to keep referring back to it and give a little bit more detail on what I'm doing. So the important thing to keep in mind for the way I'm going to be budgeting this year is that I'm going to be giving myself a spending ceiling, which I define using this savings rate. So with my higher savings rate, I give myself a spending ceiling saying the most I'll allow myself to spend this year is $52,000. And I'm also going to use this annual plan to define my investing floor, which is going to be the minimum I'm going to invest this year. And you can see the minimum I plan to invest this year is going to be based on my lower savings rate of 50%. So that is going to be $65,000. And This gives me wiggle room where I'll be moving in between these two like goals, and I'll end up probably somewhere around here with a 55% savings rate. Hopefully I do actually hit the 60, but if I don't, because I'm giving myself a minimum spending or a minimum investment floor, I'm guaranteeing that I'll at least hit this 50% savings rate. And how that's showing up in my ynab is first I'm like saying how much I want to save this year in total. My goal that I'm really aiming for is this 90,000. And that is made up of my baseline goal, then my goal, which is going to take me from my 50% savings rate to that 60% savings rate. And it also now accounts for what I expect my RSUs to make up in my goal, which is I'm expecting like $12,000 from that. But I'm not going to be adding to that like monthly. I'm just going to add to it when I get that vest and I get it paid out to me, which will be sometime in the middle of the year. So let's just again go back to the annual plan and you'll see how everything pretty much lines up. So I have my HSA contribution amount, I have my 401k contribution amount, my Roth IRA contribution amount, and in the annual plan, those fit the numbers that you're seeing in the retirement and health lines. Then you can see the $31,350 I have that makes up my baseline goal, which is going to be what guarantees that I hit the 50% savings rate. Then the $13,000 is what's going to take me from this $31,000 general investments to $44,000 in general investments. And that is going to be what hits my goal. So when you add up this number, and the contributions here, plus the RSUs, that is where I got the 90,000. And if I somehow have some extra windfalls, or maybe my stock goes way, way, way higher than, what it's currently sitting at, then I can think about hitting the stretch goal of saving an additional $10,000, which is what's going to get me to $100,000, which is my stretch goal. So I hope that makes sense how I'm laying things out in ynab. So now I can actually get to finishing up where I left off in my last video. But yeah, before I got to that, I really wanted to make it clear that you shouldn't just give yourself a spending allowance. You should also make sure you have an investing floor. And it really helps to do an annual plan to make sure those numbers are realistic for you. So you have a lot of wiggle room. Sorry, I just had to run after my roommate's dog. So I'm a little bit out of breath. Okay, let's get into that. And I hope I sound clearer in these videos going forward because I'm pretty much done with my Invisalign now. So I'm not going to wear it as much. I was supposed to be officially done with it like a few days ago, but my dentist got COVID. So I still am going to wear them, but I've hit the days I needed to hit. I'm just going to kind of wear it as a retainer. So that means I'm not going to be wearing it when I'm filming as much anymore. So yeah, okay. Now, so you guys remember from the last video, getting ahead is completed. Specific sinking funds. I'm going to go to my general sinking funds. I want to add $727.47 every month to my sinking funds. And I can just do this like that. And that is now completed. I will assign that out in detail later. I do want to go and start hitting some of my investing goals. So to make sure I'm hitting my investing goals, I've already set up my HSA and 401k to, over the course of the year, get me to the max. My 401k contribution will actually be lagging because the limit went up, but I didn't increase my percentage that I'm contributing this year. And the reason I didn't increase the percentage is because I should still hit the max if I get my promotion when I expect to get my promotion. And if I don't get my promotion when I expect to get my promotion, then I will go back into the portal and increase my percentage so that I hit the max. So these two, they will handle themselves in the timing. Where I need to look out for timing is here. And again, my RCs, they will come out when they come out. So I'm not going to be contributing to that on a monthly basis either. Just to make sure I'm hitting my baseline goal, I'll click underfunded here. And I still have money left over. And so I know what I've contributed is getting me on track to hit my baseline goal. I want to max out my Roth IRA like first thing in the year. So I'm actually going to move everything to my Roth IRA early. So it's going to look like I'm behind on my baseline goal, but that's just because I'm going to be overfunding my Roth IRA by a lot. So let me show you how that looks. So let's move that to Roth IRA. And I think, yeah, I had to fund $3,195 to hit baseline and Roth IRA goals. And if I go into the next month and I click these two categories, it should get me to exactly the same monthly amount. It's just changing the distribution in which I will be hitting those monthly amounts. So doing that move over doesn't make me actually behind on my goal. And like I said, when I have extra money, when I am on track with my goals, I will just be pouring all of that into my investments. And right now I will pour my extra $809.03 into my Roth IRA. With my next paycheck, which will also be in January, I'm hoping to officially max this out and then also now be able to just focus on my baseline goal and my goal, which let's see, next month when I'm targeting the goal, I'll pretty much be putting one full paycheck to these goals. It's going to be a little bit less because I'm hoping I'll be able to get some, maybe like $1,000 in my baseline by then too. Okay, so that is all for my basic budgeting for now. And now I get to go in and redo my sinking funds. So I'm going to actually pull everything out of my sinking fund and put it into ready to assign because I just need to like start fresh. Okay, let's see if I have to pull anything out of my specific sinking funds. Trevor's out. I think I'm going to remove this for now. Okay, great. So I'm pretty much giving myself like a fresh start with these sinking funds, and now I get to assign $1,156.20 back into them. I have a family vacation that I am trying to, yeah, just, do something for my family. What I'm going to be paying for is my own flight and the Airbnb for the family. So that's where and events. So that's where the $3,000 comes in. It is a domestic trip, so I'm hoping like I can actually stick to this budget. And it is going to be sometime in May. So that is why I have to put so much to it every month early. So I like being on track with that. I'm going to check that none of my other sinking funds need anything before I move on. So Apple Cares in October. I'm not doing lessons. My braces payments are done. I do want to see a doctor, but I'm not going to fund that anytime. Let's see, shopping spree. I don't want to do any more shopping. No more room decor. I might still pay for furniture removal. Not paying for consultations anytime soon, so I'm just going to hold off putting money in here. Taxes, I will probably owe on taxes. I need to get my W-2 before I confirm like what I owe. And I decided that because I contributed more than my investing goals to my 2023 investing goals, part of why I was able to do that is because I underpaid in taxes essentially, right? So that was basically stealing from my future self to invest in the past, which I'm actually fine with. Like I prefer owing taxes than being owed a refund. So basically I just need to make sure that when I do pay my taxes, that's actually going to come from what I would normally assign to my investing category rather than from my normal spending because I actually underspent what I gave myself as a spending allowance last year. So it doesn't make sense to take from my spending this year. Hopefully that makes sense. So I will assign here, but not today. Probably like with my first budget video of February. So yeah, then we'll know. So nothing from this amount will be going to that. ynab is needed in August. Driver's ed. Nothing in here. Nothing in here. We have random events. I do have some like Valentine's Day events that are coming up, but I think I can cash flow those from this budget. I actually already paid some Valentine's related stuff here. So probably leave that out for now. And everything related to my family vacation should be going in here. So I think I can put the rest of this to the family vacation, but I'll probably put just $400. See. Yeah. And this should be enough to start getting me to look at some Airbnbs at least. I am going to open a travel credit card before I book the Airbnb and any travel related things. I want to start doing that soon because we are traveling around an event. So I want to make sure we get the Airbnbs before everything gets crazy busy. Things are not too expensive yet, so that was really surprising. And let's see, I felt like there was something else I needed to account for. Let's see, is there anything else I need to account for here? I feel like I'm missing something. Like there just seems to be something I'm missing. I think it's with this business category. So I have been doing a lot of like volunteer work. Doesn't really come in my budget videos. I don't get paid for it and I don't have like any expenses related to it. So yeah, but I am going to be like starting a business related to the volunteer work I do. Not taking from like the people we volunteer with, it would be taking from donors, like consulting for donors specifically. I'm trying to figure out like what immediate expenses I would have related to that because I do feel like I needed to budget something related to this. I know I wanted to get a book that might have been related to work. I really can't think of like what I would need now for this category. So let's just put. I wish I had like the $200 because I like doing things in a pretty even way. But yeah, if I take from this category, I can get myself to 200 pretty much. I don't know. If I had like 1,200, I could definitely know for sure I can get an Airbnb. 1,000 is like cutting it a bit close. Hmm. I'm sure there's nothing else I need. It's like just weird having all of these completely wiped out. Feels like, oh, okay, I know exactly. This is where I was like, something's missing. So my friend is leaving her job, my friend slash coworker, she is leaving, which is so sad. And I do want to put like money away for doing something for her. So I am not sure how much that is going to cost. Yeah, I think $60 towards it, like just getting like some things for our team, a gift for her. I think 60 won't be enough. 90. Okay, that's good. And I'll put this 6620. I knew I would forget that, which is why I gave myself this note here, but I didn't read this when I was like going down the list. I was totally like, something's missing. I know I have something that just randomly came up this month, so I'm so glad I had the note. Technically, I feel like this fits more in my day to day, but let's see, I am blowing through my social expenses budget. This wouldn't be enough, but I have money in my, okay, I have a little bit left in work. So that is just like if I need extra padding. So I should be able to use these two categories to do something about it. But yeah, okay. I actually feel like relieved now because now that I have the money budgeted for it, I can start like planning something out for her. And I'm so glad I just caught that and remembered I knew something was wrong. So yeah, I actually think I had a question that I wanted to address before I ended the video. What I'm trying to show here in my budget, I think people are asking like, how do I handle true expenses? Because of my like weekly income, I feel like I can mostly cash flow any true expenses that I do have. For example, you can see that I have a note to self. I have a few notes to self about like subscriptions, like my Apple Care, which comes out in October. and my ynab, which comes out in August. So I know like when things come out, I know when I need them and stuff like that. But I don't feel the need to like put like $10 a month for, a few months to hit it. I can just, of my $700 in like free cash in that month, say, okay, out of that 700 in this month, 100's gonna have to go to ynab. So I just like know these things kind of how I manage it in my notes. And when I do have bigger ones that I can't cash flow in a month, like this family vacation, I call it out specifically here. I actually set up a proper target and then I contribute to them on the ynab schedule using what I have of my $700 still. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, that's how I handle my true expenses. I don't want to have too many little things like adding up. Kind of stresses me out. So anything small that can be cash flowed, it goes as a note, and then anything big gets its own budget line item that I specifically save for and put money towards like what I think I need to start actually contributing towards it. The one call out I do have for this is that if you have like, for example, if my ynab and my Apple Care came out in the same month, and I'd have to now cash flow $200, and maybe that would be a little bit tighter for me. I would actually have like maybe a combined line, like October subscriptions, and save for it together just to make sure that I wouldn't be tight in that month that I had two big subscriptions come out. So that is how I handle true expenses. Hopefully that is helpful to you guys. And yeah, I look forward to showing you more in my next budget video. It is so fun to start the year on 3 paychecks. Bye.